What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Check the Resume, formerly known as Draft Nerds. As you know, I know most of you like my college basketball content more than my NBA draft content. So this channel will probably kind of pivot in that direction. However, I still will be doing draft content. I would just more so be doing it as needed. So if there's a guy that's like a big prospect in college basketball, I will make sure to mention that. But we're going to be solely focused on college basketball. College basketball is back. And essentially what we're going to do is just go down the top 25 games. And yes, I know it sucks. I hate that I'm just doing the top 25. But one, I don't have all day. Two, I was not able to watch as many games as I would like. I watched a few. Actually, I watched a lot, but still wasn't able to get through everything. So my apologies for that. If you have a specific team you want me to talk about, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first game is going to be the James Madison versus Michigan State game, which James Madison, job well done. Unfortunately, this video obviously will probably be more about Michigan State not doing what they need to do, but I definitely want to give James Madison credit. They hit the shots when they mattered. They were more efficient at the free throw line, even though Michigan State had like 11 more free throw attempts, I believe, than James Madison. But overall, James Madison did what they needed to do. They went into East Lansing and was able to pull out a victory. So shout out to James Madison. We're going to go ahead and look at the box score just for a little bit so you understand what I'm talking about. This will probably be the thumbnail of the video, so I got to do this game first. As you see, like I said, Michigan State had 37 free throw attempts compared to, James Madison's 28. So I think it was 9. That's a 9 field goal difference, free throw difference. But as you see, James Madison was also 21 for 28 as opposed to Michigan State being 23 for 37. And another thing about Michigan State was a lot of their free throw attempts came from Walker. Tyson Walker. Yeah, I was about to call him Tyler Walker. Don't know why. But Tyson Walker, 35 points, but he was 11 for 17 from the free throw line, which isn't bad. I mean, getting to the free throw line, obviously those are free points. Getting there that many times is a skill in its own. So the fact that he was able to do that, it's great. However, he was the only one really doing something. The only starter to even take a free throw attempt was Hoggard. So that's another thing that I feel as though Michigan State really couldn't get their main guys really on a roll here. I mean, Tyson Walker had to do just basically a little bit of everything. And another big thing is that Michigan State was 1 for 20 from 3. So you cannot have that if you want to win. I don't care if you're the number 4 team in the country and you're playing against an unranked team or what, but you cannot go 1 for 20 from 3, especially this day and age. And also consider you were not hitting your free throws either. So it was just a tough time for Michigan State. I mean, their talent was able to even keep them in this game. If you look at it, you have one guy kind of doing everything. You're kind of wondering if these were a little more evenly matched teams, if this was a Duke or a Houston or something like that, you would think that Duke or Houston would probably really pull away. But Michigan State was not able to do so. I was able to catch a little bit of the end of the game. Obviously, I saw like the shot and everything, but it's just Michigan State just seemed out of whack. Now, I don't know. I really wouldn't call it them being punched in the mouth, but they seemed out of whack. Tom Izzo did mention like after the game, they don't have a true defined leader, which kind of is crazy considering this is a very veteran heavy team. You got the I almost said rookie. You got the freshman Cohen Carr still kind of doing his thing. 28 minutes, 5 for 6 from the field, 14 points, 6 rebounds. So, I mean, he's kind of doing his thing, like I said, off the bench. But overall, these are going to be your starters, which a lot of these guys are returning. I'm looking at Malik Hall. I'm looking at Sissoko. You got Hoggard as well. You got to just do your part. I mean, we're looking at this and they're 2 for 11, 2 for 10, 2 for 12, as opposed to James Madison, 5 for 13, 8 for 13. And I know they had someone go 2 for 9, but still their key guys were doing what they needed to do. And you look at the bench with Green, he also was 5 for 13. So and there's a computer going on, but it's not just the fact that Michigan State, like I said, I don't think they got punched in the mouth. They didn't look overwhelmed. They just didn't look prepared. And I mean, you can look at Tom Izzo for that. I don't know, but that was kind of the biggest thing I saw in the last few minutes. If you're a James Madison fan, if you're a Michigan State fan, please feel free to let me know exactly what happened. This is all reactionary. It is just the first game of the season. I'm not going to sit here and call Michigan State trash. I actually had high hopes for Michigan State. Did I think 4 was a little high? Yeah, but overall, I'm not worried. these a lot of these things are just the shots eventually will have to evolve. Now, if they continue to have this problem throughout the season, then okay, we're having a whole totally different conversation. But as of right now, it's not the end of the world. But shouts out to James Madison. Shouts out to Horton. What was his first name? Rickwan Horton. Yeah, shouts out to Rickwan Horton for hitting that shot. That was the only shot he hit, but hey, that's all that matters. So shout out to Rickwan Horton for that. And now we move to the other games. I'm gonna just double D so that we don't have to keep going back and forth. Excuse me as we do this. This is gonna be more podcast style and not more like edited down video, because to be honest with you, the reason I haven't been uploading as much, life has just been going crazy. So if I can just edit, if you can bear with me as far as like the editing of my videos and deal with the more podcast style, then I feel like I'll be able to upload more. I still will be having videos here and there where edited and we're doing breakdowns. But if you can bear with me, kind of uploading maybe twice a week in this style, that would be great. And I would really appreciate it. And as life slows down, and I'll be able to tell y'all why soon. And you may actually, since I've recorded the last video here, I've moved. So that's another crazy thing that I feel like I haven't been able to tell you guys, but I've moved. Other life things are happening. Once that I'm able to tell y'all, I will tell y'all. But yeah, I just don't have time to like kind of record and edit. That's kind of the hard part. So please forgive me. Next, I will save my team, North Carolina, because they looked better, but at the same time, they were letting Radford stick with them for a very long time. I know it took like a middle of the second half for North Carolina to really pull away. And in fact, that's probably the biggest takeaway. There's really no need to dive in the game. The ball movement was so much better for North Carolina. Radford is a tough group. I actually, to the point where I actually want to watch them play, throughout the season. I don't know anything about them. This is the first time me kind of really paying attention to them. But North Carolina, they look way better on offense. They look even better on defense, in my opinion. But there's still some kinks to work out. Radford were just dogs. Like, that's really as simple as it was. It wasn't that. I think North Carolina was playing great defense. They were finding good shots. They weren't really forcing too much. It's just Radford was just that good. And I don't know if North Carolina wasn't ready to play or what. It never seemed like North Carolina was really struggling. It just seemed Radford was just ready to play. It was one of those games where, you always say that where teams like Radford, and we can even use James Madison in their case, when they're coming to a team that's this blue blood, or this team that, is definitely like overwhelming overdog or whatever you want to call it, they smell blood. They want to be able to beat that team. So just coming out with that energy, I really, shouts out to Radford. But like I said, North Carolina looks a lot better. I know that the score may not prove it, considering you look at scores like Kansas and North Carolina Central, but I promise you, North Carolina looks a lot better. Radford was just that good in my opinion. That's all I got to say. But North Carolina, their true colors did come out later in the game, and they really were able to pull away. So that's what we'll take away from that. For Kansas, didn't really watch much. I saw Hunter Dickinson do well. 21-8. Also, I want to say I can't remember his name. El Marco. Is it El Marco? I don't want to mispronounce. Yeah, El Marco Jackson. I know he had a pretty good game. I really was impressed with the way he was able to play make. How many assists did he have? Yeah, he had 5 assists. I mean, he deserved every 5 of those assists. I was impressed with that, even though he didn't shoot as much as I thought he would. Harris, another 10 assist game. That is what Kansas is going to need. They're going to need guys to kind of just help support their key guys. So McCullers, is it McCullen or McCullers? McCullough, yeah. Kevin McCullough, and Hunter Dickinson, KJ Adams. These are going to be guys that are going to step up and kind of be those guys. Marco Jackson and Harris are going to be the ones to kind of support that, and that's what they need. That's exactly what Kansas needs if they want to continue holding on to the number 1 seed, and then also, of course, eventually win the national championship. They're going to need that good supporting cast to support their key players, and that's exactly what we saw tonight, or last night rather. And I know that it's North Carolina Central, and the game was never close. But still, you practice how you play. And not to say that, no disrespect to North Carolina Central, but I'm just saying, like, the same way you want to play against Baylor, you play against North Carolina Central. So they did just that. So very interested to see what Kansas does this season. I think it's going to be a big year for them. I know that they won 2 years ago. Because they beat my team. So they're back at it, and I think they're probably more dangerous than ever. Duke did not get to watch a single Duke minute maybe that's by design as being a North Carolina fan. But let's see here. How did Cal Filipowski do? Cal Filipowski played extremely well, as it seems. Tyrese Proctor, the type of player I know he is, I wouldn't look at this stat line and say he had an okay game or no. Like that's his skill set is not really going to show on the stat sheet. It's more so in the film. So I need to go back and at least watch maybe some extended highlights to see how well he played. But Cal Filipowski, I'm really, really surprised he didn't go into the draft last year. He probably would have been a late first round pick, in my opinion. However, also I can understand maybe that's why he didn't go into the draft, because this year, if he continues playing like this, he definitely will be a lottery pick, definitely a lottery selection. So maybe that's what it is, but I was very surprised. Foster, 15 points, and then you had Blakes with 10. I actually don't know their first names. I'm not even going to lie to you, but I do know Jeremy Roach and all these guys. Actually, Mitchell didn't play. I don't know. I had to look into that. Is Mitchell hurt? I don't know. But overall, I mean, Duke is going to Duke. They're number 2 for a reason. This is a very well-coached team, a team with a lot of talent. It hurts me to say it, but it is what it is. It's the truth. Purdue, Purdue was just Purdue. I've made a video last year talking about how Purdue, at least last year specifically, is like the new Gonzaga, as in they just do everything extremely well. They execute extremely well. And that's really all there is to it. I mean, you're just going to always have a tough time beating them because they're just a well-poised team. And that's just what Purdue's going to do. So I definitely would like to see what it's like when they get into Big Ten play. But as of right now, I mean, I expect these type of results. Oh, you can't even see it. I can see it on my screen, but you can't see it on your screen. Okay. So yeah, I definitely can't wait to see Purdue play in the Big Ten. But I wholeheartily expect these results, the first couple of games of the season, because I expect Purdue to play that well, just because they're just like a well-oiled machine. They're coached very well over there. Marquette, another surprise team in my opinion. 5 is really high, but it seems like they handle business. I didn't get to really watch that game, but let's check into the stats. I'm not trying to be a box score watcher, but like I said, it's hard to watch all of these games. There's so many games to watch, so please forgive me. But it seems as though they just handled business. They were highly efficient, shooting 52% from the field. Let's go down, because once again, I can see it on mine, but you can't see it on your. 52% from the field, 36% from 3. Their free throw needs a little work. However, it looks like they were handling business otherwise. 41 rebounds to 40. So that was pretty evenly matched on rebounds. But I think as we see right here, the assist numbers is really the big difference with Marquette having 20 assists compared to Northern Illinois' 10. So a lot of good ball movement there. I need to watch to see how this goes, see how this game went, because like I said, I definitely want to just don't want to box score watch, but it seems like Marquette handled business. Other big games, Alex Caravan from I almost said Utah. Alex Caravan from UConn. He played extremely, extremely well with 22 points. I know Donovan Clingan had like 3 blocks. He had 12, 8, and then 3 blocks. That wasn't really the standout game I expected him to have. Just because, he's obviously the guy this season as far as just, returning guys. And then, of course, Stephon Castle, the newcomer, he played pretty well. But I know for a fact from what I saw from Donovan Clingan, yes, it's all not going to show in the box score, but he did a really good job of protecting the basket. I mean, actually, you can tell considering Northern Arizona shot 34% from the field. So, and 20% from 3. They just didn't shoot well at all, actually, now that I'm looking at it. But Donovan Clingan, like I said, it's not going to show on the stat sheet, but I saw from, the couple of minutes I was able to kind of tune in, he handled his business. Tristan Newton as well as a returner. Cam Spencer did he go to Rutgers? I think he came from Rutgers. He starts and had a pretty good game, it looks like. UConn's going to be a team, man. UConn's going to be a team. I think they're a well-oiled machine. I don't see. I think there are teams better than UConn for sure. Duke being one of them, Kansas being one of them when they're running on all cylinders. But once again, if UConn gets hot at the right time, I just don't know. If I wouldn't say I don't know if they can be stopped. I just don't know if there's really too many teams that can really get in their way once they're hot. Houston, the only thing I took away from the Houston game is that I did not like that Terrence Akronu didn't get the minutes I was hoping he would get. How many minutes? Yeah, he only had 20. And I really expected him to kind of take the next step. I didn't watch any of this game because like as soon as like I noticed it was on, it was like over. So yeah, I didn't really watch any of it, but looking at the box score, Terrence Akronu did not do what I would want him to do. But my guy Sharp, one of the best defender in my opinion. No, I'm thinking of Jamal Sheed. Jamal Sheed is one of the best defenders in college basketball, in my opinion, perimeter defenders. The 4 steals speaks on it. Sharp is a good guard that scored 20 points and was 4 for 8 from 3. So, what is that? Louisiana Monroe, I believe. Houston's going to do what they do. That's another great team. It's going to be very interesting because they lost Jarris Walker. They lost Marcus Sasser. So I do want to see like kind of what this team does. But it looks like as of right now, they're handling business. Yes, it's Louisiana Monroe. But hey, you got to beat, when you play teams like this, you got to beat them like this. That's kind of like my biggest thing when it comes to college basketball and really college sports in general. I know college football, there's some slack about that as well. Tennessee, I'm just not sold on this Tennessee team. Not quite. I know a lot of people really like them. I just don't see it. I just don't see it yet. And that's kind of where that ends. I just don't really see it, but they can please prove me wrong. The SEC is going to be a dog fight this year. So, the Volunteers, let's see what you do. Arizona, I didn't really watch it. All I saw was that Caleb Love hit his shot, this 3-point shot at the beginning. Everybody's like, oh, I don't know how North Carolina can get rid of Caleb Love. And it's like the shots he takes, he's very skilled, very talented in my opinion, but the game would be close. North Carolina would be down like 4 with, really early in the shot clock. He just pulls like a deep 3 and then missing and, kind of doesn't get back on defense. So that was kind of my biggest problem with him. But Arizona's going to be another tough team. 12 is maybe a little low for them, but hey, you beat Morgan State 122-59. You're handling business, and they did just that. So continue doing that, and I'm pretty sure you'll rise up in the ranks. University of Miami, Wooga Poplar, he played as expected. I did watch a little bit of that, and he was one of my guys that I was looking for, especially in the ACC, to kind of come out and really take control. My guy, I can't remember his name from last year. I can't remember his name. Isaiah Wong. Isaiah Wong's not there anymore, of course. So Wooga Poplar's got to step up. Omir's got to step up, and they both did that, in my opinion. Once again, I know that you can look at these teams that they play and say, oh, it's just whoever, but they did what they did. Eric Musselman, Arkansas, y'all know, based on this channel, y'all know that y'all are one of my teams outside of North Carolina. Trevon Brazile he looked healthy. That was kind of like the biggest thing. I don't really look for him to, go crazy and put up crazy numbers, especially at the beginning of the season. Can he look healthy? He did just that. Deontay, is it Deontay? I need to learn these names. Devontae Davis, from last year. He's continuing to come back. I would like for him to play a little better because you're one of the guys coming back, but it is what it is as far as that. But it does seem like he's the starter now, so that's a little interesting. I mean, him starting is not the problem. It's just more so this team is talented. It's not as talented as the team last year, but this team is really talented. So I'm very interested to see kind of where they go. Because this is last year's team was more balanced, or not more balanced. It was more talented when you look at Nick Smith Jr., Jordan Walsh, who, all are in the NBA. Ricky Council IV, who I think he got cut actually from the 76ers, but Anthony Black, you had all these guys, and then Trevon Brazile got hurt. Am I missing? I feel like I'm missing someone. I can't think of who I'm missing, but from last year's team. But to me, this team seems more balanced. Last year, I definitely think that team was more talented. You definitely also missed Nick Smith Jr. a lot last year, but this team I feel like is way more balanced. You got Battle dropping 21 points. Khalif, the transfer. What did he transfer from? Where did Khalif transfer from? Is it going to show me? I don't have time. It's not going to show me where he transferred from. I don't remember where he transferred from, but he is a transfer, coming in, making his move. He's doing what he needs to do. So shout out to Arkansas. Like I said, my team away from my team. Kentucky, Rob Dillingham, I think is a top 25 player. This is where like kind of the draft stuff comes in. I think Rob Dillingham is a great bucket. He's just a bucket. So John Calipari has, a couple of young guys on his team that are really good in my opinion, and I'm interested to see. I know I keep saying that, but I'm tuned into these teams, but I am interested to see kind of how they kind of put it all together. I think if there was a year for the whole freshman thing to work out for Kentucky, I think this is the year because they got a pretty good, decent balance, and the freshmen that they do have are all talented. DJ Wagner, Rob Dillingham, Aaron Bradshaw, Reed Shepard. Am I missing anybody? Justin Edwards, I believe. So, yeah, you got 5 freshmen right there, and I think they're all, like, pretty good. So, and then you have a couple of mixed of other guys as well. So, shout out to John Calipari and, Kentucky handled business getting New Mexico State. And then you have Texas A&M who Solomon Washington for them. I know that his stats may not look great. I think he had, like, 10 points, but I was just very impressed with what I saw from him on the floor. He's a guy that could probably sneak in. It's too early to say he can sneak into the second round now, but he continues doing what he's doing. Texas A&M's top 15. I think they're better than that. I think they will prove that they're better than that. I think 15 is a fair rating for them right now, but I think they'll prove they're better than that. It is a tough SEC, but I think he's a guy to watch out for. I mean, they have a lot of other guards. They have other guards as well that are very talented. I think that this is a good guard depth Texas A&M has, but overall, I think that this is going to be a team to mess with. This is going to be a team to mess with, and I definitely want to learn more about Texas A&M. San Diego State, it's more of like I believe it when I see it. We saw last year they got drugged by UConn in the national championship, and it kind of skated by, in my opinion. They didn't really dominate anyone. So we'll see. I don't think they'll have that kind of repeat success. It's possible, but we'll see. With Texas is very interesting because they have Tyrese Hunter, they have Max Abrams, or I always pronounce his name wrong, but it's Max something from that. I can't remember the name of that school. I suck at this. I can't remember the name of that school, but Max, we'll just say Max. He's really good, short, but hey, he is a bucket. And then I don't think I mentioned Dylan Mitchell, I'm watching closely this year because last year he definitely was looked at as like a top 10 NBA prospect, and he couldn't shoot to save his life. And it's almost sometimes he refused to shoot. And then he went to the combine and then kind of came back. So want to see what that looks like. I think if anything, he just needs to embrace the role he's in and kind of be like, I say this very loosely, but like a Draymond Green type where I can do literally everything. But I do need to show that I can hit shots because a lot of people don't know that when Draymond first got into the league and the Warriors really started winning, Draymond was hitting. Draymond could hit shots if he was open. Dylan Mitchell's not there yet. It's going to take some time. Draymond was in college for 3 to 4 years, I believe. So it's not something that happens overnight. He just needs to adapt. But if Texas continues playing well in the Big 12, he'll have plenty of time to show what he can do. USC, I didn't actually watch any of this game. I saw Isaiah Collier went crazy. I saw that they were talking about Bronny James because, his heart condition. So we'll see what that looks like. Isaiah Collier, 7 for 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, 18 points. He had 6 turnovers and 5 fouls. Jeez. So the highlights were the highlights. I guess Ellis had 24 points and 4 turnovers, but 8 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, you add them the 2, add in Bronny, I think you got a pretty good team. Who is Johnson? I'm not familiar with Kobe Johnson. I'm not familiar with Kobe Johnson. I'm not even going to lie to you. And did he play there last year? I don't know. I guess so. He had to. Junior. I don't know. I know. I need to know more. But yeah, I'm not actually quite familiar with Kobe Johnson. But hey, if Bronny comes back, they already have. I think they're already a really good team without him. But if he's able to come back, Boogie Ellis. I knew I heard the name. I couldn't think of what his first name was. But yeah, if Bronny comes back, like I said, they already have a really talented team. I think they can go really far. I think if anything, Bronny's just going to add some defensive prowess to that team, because on the perimeter I do feel like they're a little weak. Not like weak as in it will really give away games, but I think Bronny's a pretty good defender in my opinion. So you add him to that, I think it's going to help out a lot. But like I said, even without him, they have shown that, I mean, they are showing that they're a pretty good team. Now that I think about it, let's go back. How did Arthur Kaluma do? Because I know, did he even play? Arthur Kaluma, geez Louise. That was kind of his problem at Creighton. He just couldn't hit. He forced a lot of bad shots. I actually, now that I see how bad he played, I kind of want to see what he did. Villanova, they're looking, to have a bounce back here. Last year, it was kind of rough for them. Cam Whitmore was hurt a lot of the time, and then also Cam Whitmore wasn't really like a team player. Very good talent on his own, but really wasn't a team player. It's not like he was passing or anything. So that's strange. As far as why, he's so talented. It's like if he was able to pass a little more, I think that would have really helped him. I know that, in the draft he fell down because of his injury concerns, but I also believe that some of that was his selfish play. But sometimes people overlook that because, it's college and he don't have the talent around him, but I just don't know. But I am looking forward to seeing how Villanova bounces back. This is another team that, similar to what I said about Arkansas, this team is a little more balanced. This team is more of like a Villanova team. They are missing maybe some key guys who could be like, oh, this is the next star, this is the next whatever, but as far as a team as a whole, I think they're good. St. Mary's, didn't watch any of that game. I'm glad I didn't. 107-28 is kind of ridiculous. I would hate to be you couldn't pay me enough to get beat 107-28. Alabama, they had, Nelson. Grant Nelson. Yes, Grant Nelson. I think he played extremely well for his size. He's able to handle the ball. He's able to shoot. He looks very fluid in his motions. I really like him. Then I would be lying if I said I knew a lot about him. Is it not going to let me? Okay, you can't see it, so let me back up a little bit. But I'll be lying if I said that I knew a lot about Grant Nelson prior to the season. But after what I saw last night against with their game against Morehead State, I really like his game. Really interested to see more with him. See if he can kind of keep that up. Nate Oates really has the 3 and post mentality. So I do want to see if maybe he's someone that can operate in the mid-range. Because we see now with Brandon Miller, who people can, were worried about his mid-range game. I was one of them. He goes to the NBA, and I think he's pretty good. I watch him. He's pretty good. So I definitely want to see if Grant Nelson is similar as far as his offensive game. Is he really a 3-tool offensive player? And I think that the reason that's important is because we saw with Brandon Miller last year in the tournament, playing that way, he really couldn't, he struggled finishing, and then he was not able to hit the 3. So that's why he struggled in the tournament, because they kind of took the 3 away from him. And then, like I said, throughout the whole season, he struggled. Even though he did get better at finishing at the rim through the season, he struggled for the most part. And then I feel like in the NBA, he's doing even a better job of that. But I think it's going to be important. Teams are going to be looking to take away from the 3-point line. Now, I didn't watch that. I just kind of saw the highlights. So I definitely would need to dive into it more. For the last game in the top 25, as we've been recording for a while now, I actually don't know how long. It doesn't say. Oh, almost 30 minutes. Okay. So as we've been talking for a while now, Illinois, the only thing I will talk about with Illinois is that Terrence Shannon is Terrence Shannon. I mean, he's going to score. That's what he does. I would like to have seen more from Coleman Hawkins. I know that the scoring's not his thing. Did he get hurt? I don't know. So I saw he was playing in the 5 seconds I watched this game, and then I kind of turned it off. But then I went back and looked at the stats. Not even after the game. The game was still going, and I just was not impressed as far as just his overall. He really wasn't impacting the game I would like him to. But now I want to look up, did he get hurt? Hold on. I have to, let's see. Coleman Hawkins injury. Did he get hurt? Well, I don't see anything about him getting hurt. I don't know. I don't know. So I won't speak too much on that. I'll just let it go because I'm not aware if he got hurt or not. So I'll take what I said back. But in the little bit I watched the game, Coleman Hawkins, for a guy that I thought was pretty talented. He's a very good all-around player. Once again, I'm going to use the Draymond Green comparison. They're not the same player at all. When I use Draymond Green, I'm more so saying that a guy that can kind of just impact the game in ways outside of scoring. I see that in Coleman Hawkins. However, in his like kind of pre-draft stuff, it just didn't stick out and I think a lot of it is nobody really knows what he plays. He's like a point forward, but he's not quite like a Ben Simmons point forward. It's just a little tough to kind of find out where he fits. With the right team going to the NBA, I think he'll be great. But it's hard. It's hard to find the right team that's willing to work with you, especially when you're not the world, this great perimeter defender, or you can't shoot like that. So those are things that's going to kind of slow him down. But I like his game overall. I think he just needs to kind of assert himself a little more. But I'll leave it at that because I do not know if he was injured. And also, Illinois had someone that I can't remember his name, but he was supposed to be a breakout player in my opinion. Someone that can really help this team, and he decided to redshirt his sophomore year, if I remember correctly. So that is going to kind of be a big blow for the Fighting Illini. But who is Gibbs Lahorn? Never heard. Freshman, 6'1". Okay. He played extremely well. It makes me want to go back and watch. Yeah, I will go back and watch Gibbs Lahorn. I'm sorry, Gibbs Lahorn. I was not familiar with your game. So yeah, that does it. As my screen is loading here, that does it for the top 25. Sorry that I couldn't do more. Obviously the season's long. We're going to learn all these players. We're going to be more familiar with these teams' play styles. Unfortunately, unlike in women's basketball, which I saw a lot of like ranked teams play each other, it's not quite like that in college basketball, at least not until the little tournaments, or men's college basketball, at least not until the little tournaments start kicking off. But I think overall, as a whole, with college basketball this year, this is going to be a really good season. I think this is a very, very talented year for college basketball. I think there's a lot of teams that can make some noise. I think we have a lot of candidates for like, these are the top dogs. And then I think we have a lot of candidates for, if they get hot at the right time, I can see them win. And then I feel like we even have more candidates where these teams are really good. They do need some luck on their side. Like, they do need some things to fall their way, but they can also win. In those three tiers, we have a lot of teams. And so I'm just very excited to see what this year progresses like, because I think this is just going to be a great year for college basketball all over. I feel like the rivalries are going to feel like rivalries again. I feel like the big games are going to feel like the big games. I feel like they're going to live with the expectations. So this is just going to be a great year for college basketball. Once again, sorry for kind of like doing the video kind of like this. I know that it may not be exactly how I usually do my videos, but like I said, I did want to kind of, I just didn't want to not make college basketball content because I love doing it. It's just life is so busy. I don't have time to edit it. So if you're cool with this podcast style, then please let me know down in the comment section below. I have like a random podcast that I used to do for NBA basketball that I don't upload to anymore. This was years and years ago. Well, not even years ago, not this new feed. But anyway, the whole point is, if you would want this in a podcast audio format, then please let me know. I can go ahead and really quick just kind of replace the art on there and then upload the audio of this to there. So if you want to see that more, just let me know. Once again, down in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.